1920s Egypt. Archaeologists are eager to delve into the recently uncovered tomb of Tutankhamun, as it was one of the only remaining sites in the Valley of Kings that had yet to be desecrated by grave robbers. It would also prove to be one of the largest archaeological surveys conducted at the time, with the tomb containing over 5,000 objects, from burial goods, jewelry, clothes, hieroglyphic texts, and even the remains of King Tut himself. Most puzzling to Egyptologists, however, was a small knife found in the pharaoh's antechamber. While at first only seeming to be a small ornamental dagger that was given to the prince as a gift, further analysis would reveal something astounding. Attached to a gold hilt, the blade itself was forged with a rather shocking compound: meteorite. This was baffling to scientists, as usually the metal could only be forged into a blade by melting it down with other materials using a process called smelting, a process that wouldn't be invented by ancient humans until 150 years after King Tut's burial. So, how is it possible that a dagger made from meteorite was in the possession of ancient Egyptians? Was it gifted by allies of some sort of advanced civilization? Did it come from extraterrestrial visitors as they surveyed the Nile River Valley? In 2021, archaeologist Albert Jambon of the Pierre and Marie Curie University in Paris would conduct several tests on the ancient dagger in order to study its metal composition. Using X-ray fluorescence, XRF spectrometry, he was able to determine that it was created using iron that contained traces of nickel and cobalt, which is a composition that is indeed consistent with iron found in meteorites that are observed to fall to Earth for billions and billions of years. According to Jambon, the only likely explanation is that the creation of the blade was forged on accident by primitive processes of trial and error that would amazingly mimic what would later be recognized as the more modern practice of smelting metals. Similarly, Tutankhamun's tomb also held a bracelet and headdress that also had the same meteorite compositions. As to where the pharaoh would have gotten such lavish items from, historians currently have no idea. In June 2016, a meteorite with similar metallurgical qualities was excavated near the Karga Oasis, an archaeological site about 200 kilometers west of the Nile River Valley. However, similar ornamentations to that of the dagger have yet to be found at the site, further deepening the mystery to the enigmatic gift. The Americas are known by historians to have been undiscovered by Spain and most of Europe until conquistadors arrived on Mexican shores in 1519. Yet archaeologists make a discovery that would contradict everything we know about European contact with North America. In 1933, a group excavating the Calixtlahuaca, an ancient Mesoamerican burial site about 40 miles west of Mexico City, would find the figurine of a small head that possessed qualities that were synonymous with Roman craftsmanship. It was found 3 floors below the surface structure, being kept alongside pottery, crystal and gold. The site had seemingly laid untouched since its construction sometime between 1476 and 1510 AD. So how is it possible that such a piece could have made its way across the Atlantic almost a decade before the Spanish did? The artifact was brought to Germany in 1995 to undergo thermoluminescence testing, which determined that it was crafted sometime around 184 BCE to 616 AD, which is consistent with the Roman period, meaning that it predates the Mexican burial site by at least a millennia. Is it possible that the small idol could have been planted at the burial site? This became the popular theory, as it was otherwise impossible for such an item to have made its way to the pre-Columbian America at the time it allegedly would have. There is currently no way for us to know for sure, but Paul Schmidt of the Institute of Anthropological Research in Mexico City would propose this to be the truth behind the mystery, stating that the head had been planted by the original excavation team in 1933. Despite nobody on the team being alive in 1999 to reveal the truth, Schmidt claims that lead archaeologist José García Payon had a history in the community at the time for creating hoaxes, and thus his reputation was not taken very seriously. Although he has no evidence to support this hypothesis, he insists that this is likely the truth behind its mysterious origins in an ancient Mexican gravesite. What do you think? Was the Roman head simply placed there by an archaeologist trying to make his name known in the scientific community? Or perhaps there is some deeper truth here about the relations between Mediterranean Europe and ancient Mesoamerica? Perhaps one of the most recognizable early tools of human civilization is the hammer. Useful in its the ability to strike with great blunt force, it quite literally paved the way to building the foundation for future innovations in architecture and technology. So what would it mean if something so synonymous with our ancient ancestors were to actually predate our species entirely? In June of 1936, the town of London, Texas, would be home to a discovery that would baffle historians for generations to follow. Locals Max Hahn and Emma Hahn would be on a walk one day when they would notice a peculiar rock that looked like it had wood splintering out from its center, and after opening it would find the remains of a hammer. Not just any hammer, however, as it would be determined soon after that the rock encasing was more than 400 million years old. The artifact appeared to have been old, that the handle had begun to turn into coal. For reference, hammers have not been observed to have been invented until about 3.3 million years ago, with those having handles not appearing until 30,000 BCE. Being dubbed the London Hammer, the oddity would later gain large amounts of attention in the 1980s after it was purchased by creationist Karl Bohr, who believed it supported the narrative that humans inhabited Earth much longer than what was proven by science. So is it possible that the discovery hints at an alternate timeline of human history? Well, an easy way to find out the truth behind the mysterious hammer would be to simply sample it using modern carbon dating techniques. However, Karl Bohr has yet to permit any test to be conducted on it, leaving the truth behind its origins to remain unclear. Many archaeologists do theorize, however, that perhaps it was the rock formed around the hammer when it was dropped, possibly by a miner only a few centuries before. The geology of the area contains minerals that are chemically soluble, allowing the rock to have plastered over the tool similar to concrete. The London Hammer is currently on display at the Creation Evidence Museum in Central Texas. As long as scientists are unable to conduct tests on the artifact, its true relationship with early humans will remain shrouded in mystery. Simple tools like the London Hammer are not the only things that have been found hidden inside stones. Geologists would discover another object hidden inside of a rock that is much more shocking in its complexity. In 1961, gift shop employees of the LM&V Rockhounds Gem and Gift Shop, located in Olancha, California, would accidentally stumble upon something that they could hardly fathom. While collecting rocks to be sold at the store, employees would cut into one of the geodes to discover that something was encased inside of it. They found that they had cut into something that resembled a porcelain shaft. The cylinder was about 2 millimeters in length and featured a piece of shining metal within its center. To them, it looked to be a much more modern human invention, a car's spark plug. Of course, spark plugs are an invention that didn't come around until the late 1800s, but the age of the rock would date this one to be at least 500,000 years old. Even more compelling, the store employees would later find objects that resembled a washer and a nail that had been stuck in the rock's crust, alongside small fossils of ancient shells. Additionally, placing a magnet near the cylinder would cause an attraction, meaning that it was in fact composed of metal and even copper. Since its initial discovery, the so-called Coso artifact has been relatively hard to study by curious geologists. Since its discovery, it was known to have been in the possession of Wallace Lane, one of the store employees that had stumbled across it that day. However, in the present day, its current whereabouts are unknown. Eventually, X-ray images were taken of the metallic artifact, and combined with additional artist sketches, scientists have identified it to indeed be a spark plug manufactured by the Champion Spark Plug Manufacturing Company, commonly used in Ford Model Ts during the 1920s. For conspiracy theorists, however, this conclusion has raised more questions than it has answers. How does a 20th century object become entrapped in stones that came millennia before it? Well, there are those that conclude that this is proof that time travel is feasible and has been used in the past in order to place the object where it lay for thousands of years. Others even suggest that this may trace back to signs of extraterrestrial tampering, and there are those that theorized it could have been used in the operation of unidentified flying objects long before human civilization had invented it themselves. Or perhaps the explanation is similar to that of the London hammer, where the mineral makeup of the rock allowed it to slowly encase the small cylinder. As to which of these theories behind this mysterious artifact is the truth, the current consensus is that we simply cannot know for sure, and so the eerie tale of the Koso artifact leaves us scratching our head as to its true origins. One ancient artifact that science does have a much better grasp on, however, is the Alfred jewel. The discovery of the object in 1693 have given historians centuries to look upon it with bewilderment, as its ornate craftsmanship is amazing to have been dated back hundreds of years. Originally found in a field in Somerset, England, this jewel is said to feature some of the most advanced craftsmanship known from the Anglo-Saxon period. Molded in the shape of a teardrop, it features an outer crest of pure gold with floral patterns detailed in and around the center jewel, which is thought to be some sort of crystal. Featured within the crystal is an enamel etching of a man in green robes holding flowers in both hands, whom historians think may be the English Saint Cuthbert. And then there's the inscription that is written in gold surrounding the inner jewel from which the artifact gets its name: "Alfred ordered me to be made." The Alfred in question refers to Alfred the Great, king of the West Saxons between 871 and 886 AD, dating the jewel to be around 1100 years old. The ruler was known to have undergone several campaigns in the area where it was uncovered, likely having been lost during one of the many skirmishes at the time. What is still puzzling to many researchers to this day, however, is how the jewel was adorned. The most popular theories are that the teardrop-shaped crest was originally part of a royal headdress, or the pendant that was worn as a necklace around the wearer's neck. However, both of these explanations would mean that the teardrop would have to have been worn in a manner which displayed the jewel's image upside down, a gesture that would have considered disrespectful for the time. However the ornate jewel would have been worn, its beauty and expert craftsmanship still continue to baffle scientists of the modern era, as it did when first discovered nearly 400 years ago, as it is now on display at the Ashmolean Museum in the University of Oxford. Visitors are able to admire its complexity, instilling the idea that our early ancestors were much more advanced in the crafts than we could possibly understand. Archaeology is a field that continually reveals the secrets of ancient civilizations, but some discoveries that simply defy explanation. These are the 12 most mysterious recent archaeological finds that scientists still can't fully explain. Number 1. Submerged beneath the azure waters of the East China Sea lies a baffling structure that has captured the fascination of archaeologists and researchers worldwide: the underwater pyramid of Yonaguni-jima. Discovered off the coast of Yonaguni Island in Japan, this enigmatic monument has sparked debates and theories about its origin, purpose, and the civilization that may have constructed it. The underwater pyramid was first discovered in 1987 by local diver Kihachiro Aratake, who stumbled upon the massive submerged structure while diving off the coast of Yonaguni Island. The monument is located approximately 200 meters from the island's shore and rests at a depth of around 5 to 40 meters beneath the ocean's surface. The pyramid-like structure measures approximately 100 meters in length, 40 meters in width, and stands nearly 25 meters tall. Its smooth, flat surfaces, straight edges, and right angles have led many to speculate that it's not actually a natural formation, Number 2, Indonesia, renowned for its stunning natural landscapes, holds within its depths a hidden treasure trove of ancient artistry. Among these are the Stone Age cave paintings of Indonesia, which offer a fascinating glimpse into the lives and cultures of prehistoric communities. These ancient cave murals were first discovered in the late 19th century, with significant finds documented in regions such as Sulawesi, Kalimantan, and Papua. Among the most notable sites are the caves of Maros Pangkep in Sulawesi, where paintings date back over 45,000 years. The cave paintings were created using a variety of techniques and materials. Pigments were sourced from natural minerals such as ochre, charcoal, and clay, which were mixed with binders such as water, saliva, or animal fat to create paint. Brushes made from animal hair or plant fibers were used to apply the paint to the cave walls, while fingers, hands, or hollow bones were used for stenciling. The level of detail and precision achieved by these ancient artists is not only sophisticated but truly remarkable. Number 3, the Tomb of the Sunken Skulls, a remarkable underwater archaeological site discovered in recent years, offers a window into the ancient past. Situated beneath the waters off the coast of Sweden, this site has captivated researchers with its eerie and mysterious remains. The tomb was first discovered by divers exploring the waters near Lake Mälaren, Sweden, in 2009. Subsequent investigations revealed a submerged burial site dating back to the Mesolithic period, approximately 8,000 years ago. Located at a depth of around 11 meters, 36 feet, the site consists of a circular pit containing the remains of at least 11 individuals, primarily skulls. The skulls recovered from the tomb exhibit distinctive features, including intentional modifications such as incisions and markings, suggesting that they were subjected to ritualistic practices before burial. The presence of red ochre pigment on some of the skulls further indicates that they may have been ritually decorated or adorned as part of burial ceremonies. Questions remain as to why and by whom. Number 4. Cahokia is an ancient city located near present-day Collinsville, Illinois, in the United States. Once the largest pre-Columbian settlement north of Mexico, its peak population is estimated at close to 20,000 people in the 11th and 12th centuries. This ancient metropolis is shrouded in mystery and has fascinated archaeologists and historians for centuries. Sophisticated urban planning and archaeological evidence suggests that the city was a bustling center of trade and cultural exchange. The city was characterized by large earthen mounds, some of which reached heights of up to 100 feet and covered several acres. Excavations have unearthed the presence of exotic goods from distant locations like marine shells from the Gulf Coast and copper from the Great Lakes region, though means for such distant trade connections are still unknown. The most unexplainable mystery of the site, however, is its sudden decline and abandonment around the 13th century. Various theories have been proposed to explain its demise, including environmental factors, warfare, disease, and social unrest. However, no single explanation has been universally accepted, and the exact reasons for Cahokia's collapse remain a subject of heavy debate. Number 5. Beneath the rugged terrain of Cappadocia in Turkey lies the mysterious ancient city of Derinkuyu. Carved deep into the soft volcanic rock, this subterranean marvel stands as a testament to the ingenuity and resourcefulness of its ancient inhabitants. The underground city was first discovered in 1963 when a Turkish resident stumbled upon a hidden passageway while renovating his home. Subsequent excavations revealed a vast network of tunnels, chambers, and living quarters extending over 8 levels and descending to a depth of approximately 60 meters, 200 feet below ground. The existence of Derinkuyu raises intriguing questions about the motivations behind its construction and the lifestyles of its inhabitants. Some scholars believe that the underground city served as a fortified refuge for Christians fleeing persecution. Others suggest that it may have functioned as shelter during wartime. It's possible we'll never know the true purpose. Number 6. Discovered in 1994, the tomb of the Red Queen resides within the Temple of Inscriptions, one of the monumental structures in the Mayan city-state of Palenque. The discovery of the tomb, which dates back to the 7th century CE, added a new chapter to the history of Palenque and provided valuable insights into the funerary practices and royal lineage of the Mayan elite. It also leaves unanswered questions about who was buried here. Aptly named, the tomb of the Red Queen contains the well-preserved remains of a female individual, believed to be a prominent member of the ruling elite. One of the most striking pieces of evidence supporting this theory is the elaborate funerary mask adorning the skull of the queen. Made of jade mosaic and adorned with precious stones, she was also buried with a rich array of offerings, including pottery, jewelry, and textiles. So while we can guess at her status, the true story of this mysterious woman remains unclear. Number 7. About the early exploration of North America and the timeline of early exploration appears to have yet another question mark. Number 8. The underwater pyramids of Cuba stand as a mystery that has intrigued archaeologists, historians, and explorers since their discovery in the early 2000s. These enigmatic structures, submerged beneath the waters off the coast of Cuba, challenge our understanding of ancient civilizations and their maritime capabilities. The discovery occurred in the early 2000s when Pauline Zalitsky and Paul Weinsweig, a Canadian couple, first identified anomalous sonar readings in the waters near the Guanahacaibes Peninsula. Subsequent underwater expeditions revealed a series of geometrically shaped structures resembling pyramids, terraces, and other architectural features, leading to speculation about their origins and purpose. The discovery of the underwater pyramids has sparked controversy and debate within the archaeological community, with proponents and skeptics presenting conflicting interpretations of the evidence. Some researchers believe that the structures may be remnants of a lost civilization that existed during a period of lower sea levels, possibly dating back thousands of years. The underwater pyramids represent a tantalizing mystery that continues to fascinate researchers and enthusiasts alike. While the evidence surrounding their origin and significance remains inconclusive, their discovery underscores the vast potential for exploration and discovery in the world's oceans. Number 9. The burnt city of Iran, known locally as Shar-e-Sukhteh, stands as one of the most curious archaeological sites in the world. Located in southeastern Iran, this ancient metropolis flourished over 5,000 years ago during the Bronze Age. Despite its name, the city boasts a rich and complex history. It was first discovered in the early 1960s during archaeological surveys of the region. Excavations conducted since then have revealed a sprawling urban settlement covering over 150 hectares, many of which evidence layers of ash and debris found throughout the site, indicating that the burnt city suffered multiple instances of destruction by fire during its occupation. How, then, did the city exist as such an advanced urban infrastructure with a sophisticated drainage system, public buildings, and residential quarters? The burnt city stands as a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of ancient civilizations in the Near East. Through meticulous excavation and analysis, archaeologists continue to unravel the mysteries of this remarkable site. Number 10. The Great Wall of Gorgon, also known as the Red Snake, spans over 200 kilometers across the northeastern region of present-day Iran. It's theorized that this remarkable defensive structure served as a formidable barrier against invading forces and played a crucial role in safeguarding the Persian Empire. Construction is believed to have taken place during the early centuries of the Sasanian Empire, around the 5th century CE. At the time, the Persian Empire faced frequent incursions and raids from nomadic tribes and rival powers, necessitating the need for a robust defensive fortification along its northeastern frontier. Perhaps the wall's strategic importance extended beyond military defense to include control over trade routes, border crossings, and communication networks. No doubt, its legacy continues to endure in the collective memory of the Iranian people, serving as a symbol of national pride and resilience. Number 11. The giant Amazonian geoglyphs were first brought to the attention of the scientific community in the early 21st century when researchers conducting aerial surveys of the Amazon rainforest observed large geometric shapes and earthworks etched into the landscape. Subsequent investigations using satellite imagery and ground surveys revealed the presence of hundreds of geoglyphs, including circles, squares, and other intricate designs. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence supporting the human origin of the geoglyphs is their scale and complexity. Some of the earthworks stretch for hundreds of meters and feature precise geometric shapes that would have required significant planning and labor to construct. How they got there remains a mystery, but the discovery highlights the presence of complex societies capable of shaping and transforming their environment in profound ways and underscores the need for further research and exploration in the region. And finally, number 12. The mystery of the crystal skulls has long captivated the imagination of archaeologists, historians, and enthusiasts around the world. These famed artifacts, crafted from various types of quartz crystal, are believed to hold mystical powers and ancient wisdom. Perhaps the most intriguing thing about the skulls is their discovery various locations across the globe, with notable examples originating from Central America, Mexico, and South America. Some suggest that the skulls were crafted by ancient Mesoamerican civilizations such as the Maya or Aztec. Others argue that they may be modern forgeries created in the 19th or 20th centuries. Similarly, scientific analysis of the crystal skulls has yielded inconclusive results. While their origins remain uncertain, the crystal skulls serve as symbols of the enduring human quest for knowledge, spirituality, and connection to the past. Whether ancient relics or modern creations, the crystal skulls remind us of the mysteries that still exist and the power of human imagination. All of these archaeological enigmas serve as a reminder of our vast human history and the limitations of our current knowledge. While some mysteries may eventually be unraveled through further study and analysis, others may remain forever unsolved. Nevertheless, it is through our own investigation that we deepen our appreciation for the diversity and complexity of ancient human civilization. The pursuit to uncover the hidden truths of our hidden history brings us deeper into the investigation of pre-flood archaeological structures, or those that date from before the Great Flood that was described in the Christian book of Genesis of the Bible's Old Testament. These structures usually date back much older in history, having bore witness to the great catastrophe that was written about in Scripture and have somehow managed to survive all the way into the present. These ruins are usually considered of great historical significance and often possess special qualities about them that allowed them to persevere through the worldwide flood. Massive burial sites hidden in the desert to cities that were allegedly built by giants, the study of these very old sites allow us to unravel the mysteries of early human history and to piece together the true story of the Great Flood that is mentioned in the ancient folktales of almost every civilization in the world. While several of these alleged pre-flood discoveries are noteworthy on their own, the discovery of one site in modern-day Turkey may just be the most archaeologically significant of them all. Located on the western coast of Turkey, bordering that of the Mediterranean Sea near the town of Selçuk, the Mausoleum of Balevi stands as one of the largest ancient mausoleums in the area, countless tombs that have been preserved since the Hellenistic period between 323 and 32 BCE. The burial chamber, having been carved directly into rock, is about 29 meters in length and 10 meters high, with a second floor having been constructed but was never completed. The entrance to the tomb was originally hidden behind a marble slab, keeping it hidden from explorers until its eventual discovery in the 1930s. Many archaeologists that have studied this site believe that if the site were allowed to have finished its construction, it would rival other famous ancient structures of the period, like the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Roman Colosseum. Modern studies suggest that a finished version of the structure would reach closer to 35 meters in height and would also adorn the pyramid shape that was common for burial sites at the time. Remaining evidence of this optimistic plan for the structure can be observed in a massive, incomplete sarcophagus that was discovered in the central burial chamber. The coffin, which has a lid that was designed to look like a man, originally was adorned with a crown on his head and holding a bowl, as well as the presence of his servant standing nearby. The garb of the figures on the coffin's frelic suggests that the mausoleum was constructed by the Persians, who were known to have claimed the territory during this time. This ancient site is significant in the baffling complexity of its building materials. In the process of detailing the mausoleum, an approximate amount of 2,500 cubic meters of marble would have been sourced, most likely from the surrounding area. Carved into the marble would be depictions of centauromachy, a common subject of Hellenistic art in which mankind battles the half-human, half-horse centaurs in a struggle to overcome barbarism. Additionally, several statues have been recovered from the site, including those of lions with wings meant to recreate the mythical griffin. Archaeologists predict that the ornate nature of the chamber is because it was intended to be the burial site for Lysimachus, one of the successors to none other than Alexander the Great. Lysimachus, following Alexander's passing, would rule most of Asia Minor, including Western Turkey. Serving as the final resting place to such an important figure would require a certain amount of magnificence for the site. However, Lysimachus would be killed during the Battle of Corupedium against the Seleucid Empire in 281 BCE, being entombed elsewhere before the mausoleum was completed. It is believed now, however, that the site was at one point the burial site for Antiochus II Theos, who was the grandson of the king that defeated Lysimachus. Conclusively, the Balavi Mausoleum is enigmatic to most historians, simply in how well of a condition the tomb has remained in for so long. Most sites during this period have long since eroded to the sands of time and are only known about through ancient record-keeping or through buried piles of rubble that had long since collapsed. Across the Atlantic and into South America, another enigmatic location is observed. In modern-day Bolivia, the ancient city of Tiahuanaco stands as one of the largest archaeological sites on the entire continent. However, its true significance lies with the mystery of its inception. For centuries, time after time, native peoples of the area tried to uncover who actually built this ancient city, to little success. The city's age has been subject to speculation, with various archaeologists giving radically different dates in the last several decades. It was originally thought to have been built and inhabited around 1580 BCE and was then updated to be around 200 to 300 BCE. However, that was changed once again when European scholar Arthur Posnanski used the presence of the site's many astronomical landmarks to calculate that the site was built approximately 17,000 years ago, making it one of the older remaining human settlements on Earth. As to which civilization is responsible for creating the city, most historians credit it to a civilization that came long before the ancient Peruvians were around. The residents of Tiahuanaco were known to have interacted often with the Wari peoples, who would inhabit the area until about 1000 AD. On the surface, the area of the site spans about 4 square kilometers. This estimate alone puts the size of Tiahuanaco at about 3 times larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza. However, recently a series of underground chambers have been discovered using modern infrared technology, which suggests that there is more to the city's contents than just what can be observed on the surface. Archaeologists have remained baffled by some of the stunning structures that have been found at the site. One of these amazing monuments includes the Gateway of the Sun, the name given to a colossal archway found in one of the city's main courtyards carved from pure sandstone. The blocks that make up the gate are covered with the iconography of the ancient peoples, etchings of animals and celestial beings, and is thought to have been used as some sort of ancient Tiahuanacan calendar system. There is also the presence of an assortment of human-like statue figures that are constructed throughout the perimeter of the site, one of which, being named the Bennett Monolith, was discovered in one of the underground chambers and is recognized to be the largest monument of its kind in the region. Despite the site's rather mysterious origins, several myths from these ancient peoples have survived into the modern day. In one, it is said that the once great city of Tiahuanaco was built by inhabitants long before the Incan civilization, a race of giants. These giants supposedly lived in the surrounding Andean highlands and commonly appear in local folk tales. In one account, indigenous peoples would take a pilgrimage to a mountain that was considered religiously sacred, and while conducting rituals, they had discovered a large tomb that contained the body of a giant. Allegedly, their skeletons had large skulls which possessed protrusions extending from the back of their heads. While no biological evidence of giants has been found in the area, their existence would definitely be somewhat of an explanation of how the people of Tiahuanaco were able to accomplish such astounding archaeological feats during their civilization's lifetime. However, what if there was site much older than Tiahuanaco that would threaten to warp of understanding of history even more? In 1995, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt would find a place hidden so well within the mountains of Turkey that it had remained unknown to modern humans for more than 11,000 years. The site, dubbed Göbekli Tepe, or Belly Hill, would contain findings so grand that the discoveries within are still reshaping the study of early humans to this day. As the name suggests, Göbekli Tepe was built into the top of a hill, consisting of 20 sets of limestone pillars arranged in circular formations, with the biggest one spanning 20 meters in length and having stone pillars that are 5.5 meters tall. While at first appearing to be similar in nature to Stonehenge, archaeologists would conclude that the process of making the large columns would be much different. The architects of the structure would carve into the bedrock of a nearby hill, using the slope to easily chip away at the surface stone using wooden tools and flint. Once the shape was formed from the side of the hill, a pulley system was used to haul it to the site, depending mostly on sufficient manpower to pull the pillar with logs underneath for traction. Shortly following the Göbekli Tepe's discovery, it was hypothesized that the construction was a collaborative effort between several hunter-gatherer groups within the area, and they would often coalesce at the top of the hill to engage in burial ceremonies or shared rituals. This is a profound revelation for ancient history. At the time of Göbekli Tepe's construction, around 9600 BCE, early humans were not known to have yet domesticated plants and animals. Our understanding at this time was, it was only once farming began to become a common practice were people able to create settlements in order to jumpstart civilization. Religious sites, such as this one, were a result of our ancestors thriving in a singular spot, instead of endlessly wandering the earth as nomads. However, this site contradicts our understanding of hunter-gatherer groups, suggesting that the presence of religious beliefs is actually much older and more crucial to the lives of our early human ancestors than was previously thought. Even more so, it would later be uncovered in later excavations that the area may have in fact been inhabited permanently. Items like foundations for houses and canals used for collecting rainwater suggest that the site was actually a town full of inhabitants, with the ritual grounds being present on top of the hill in the city center. In the present, Göbekli Tepe still holds many mysteries that have yet to be solved by modern historians. The presence of various animal drawings, such as those depicting foxes, snakes, vultures, and leopards, hint at the possibility that perhaps the inhabitants had a relationship with such uncommon animals that we simply have yet to understand. As to what shocking revelation will be found there next, only time will tell. On the other side of Asia, on the farthest reaches of the European continent, another baffling site sits undisturbed, ripe for scientific study. These ruins are particularly significant, however, in that they hold complex, mysterious glyphs that leave us confused as to what their true meaning is to this day. About half an hour outside of Dublin, Ireland, the ruins of a site now dubbed Newgrange sits in quiet solitude in a fertile valley along the Boyne River on the eastern coast. This site consists of a man-made circular hill with 97 massive stones elevating the surface and creating a subterranean chamber beneath the mound. The site dates to have been erected around 3200 and 3100 BCE, dating it to be around 5,000 years old, predating both Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids of Giza by centuries. Having been constructed during the Stone Age, archaeologists estimate that the construct would have taken at least 20 years, an astounding feat of organization for the time period. Of those 97 stones, many are adorned with etchings depicting complex spirals, lattice patterns, checkerboards, and other abstract pieces of art. The most intriguing design choice of Newgrange, however, can be observed during the winter solstice, where sunlight will align with a crevice on the top of the mound and illuminate the central hallway, all the way into the main chamber underneath. While no remains have been found to conclude for certain, the leading theory for what the ruins were used for is that they were meant as a tomb for their deceased brethren to cross safely into the afterlife, similar to tombs found for the pharaohs of Egypt. One of the most mysterious aspects of Newgrange is how such complex architectural feats were accomplished. Inside the complex, the ceiling is raised as high as 20 feet, and the structure of 3 smaller rooms that coalesce together to form a cross. The fact that the tomb was constructed without the assistance of measuring tools or even a system of written language makes its construction bewildering to historians. Some theorists even claim that the 3 chambers inside are meant to represent female reproductive organs. Additionally, the many large spiral diagrams could possibly represent modern diagrams of our solar system or even the waves of a huge flood that once occurred in our ancient past, perhaps the same one mentioned in biblical scripture that was said to have devastated most of early civilization. In the inner chamber, the roof was so precisely sealed that it is virtually waterproof, allowing not even a single drop of rainwater to enter. So, is it possible that the people of ancient Ireland were so advanced and so well organized that they were able to not only create the massive tomb, but also calculate the placement of the sun without the use of modern mathematics? If so, what would be the reason for their sudden and mysterious demise? We may never find the truth for ourselves, but Newgrange stands as a subtle reminder that there are many things about the ancient world that we still cannot fathom. Those are some of the most impressive ancient ruins found around that world that predate the apocalyptic flood as described in the book of Genesis. While these amazing structures have both the great waters of the flood and the test of time for several millennia, the people who constructed them have long since vanished, leaving little detail for how they were able to create such perplexing structures, and archaeologists scratching their heads. If it was possible for these inhabitants to have survived such an event, surely their story is buried in one of these many enigmatic places, waiting to be solved by modern science.